To kick off the new year, we're going to take a look at our new website debuting later this month. Turbulent is putting the finishing touch.
Yeah, so where were we? Well, I had just lost, what, 172,000-ish UEC on a crash of the Caterpillar. So here we are back at the same station. This time we are in the Cutlass the Cutlass Black, trying to recover. So basically, what have we done? We've put all our eggs in one basket again, and we have now filled up the Cutlass Black with medical supplies in an effort to recover our lost fortune and then spend some of it. Now, of course, some would debate the wisdom of basically repeating the same mistake again. But, you know, realistically, even if, let's say, the game crashes right now, everything is gone, it didn't take that long to build it up, really. I mean, it was something that happened really, really quickly. So, well, not really, really quickly, but quickly enough. And so, I mean, and besides, it's, this is still pre-release. None of this really counts, so why not just have some fun with it? Why not take some interesting chances, Like maybe almost flying right through the surface of the planet to get to Yela. It's just on the horizon. I bet you if we move up just a little bit, you know what? Why not just take the chance? What's the worst that could happen? Yay, physics. Now, I've decided to bounce down to Grimhex because at one point I could have sworn I remembered seeing medical supplies going for 114 credits on Grimhex. So I was kind of thinking, you know what, if that's actually the case, then that would be a ridiculous profit to make at Grimhex. So why not just head out there, see if we can unload all the medical supplies there, and at that point, it won't be so bad that I've gone from 60,000 credits down to 16 credits and everything in the back of a Cutlass on servers that are less than reliable. What could possibly go wrong? Now, there are a few bugs with Grimhex, and realistically, coming into any new landing site is usually a very jittery and jarring experience, simply because I think it's streaming in all the data from what you're seeing, and that tends to impact performance. Now, while we're waiting to land, I realize that I've talked a bit about the cockpit view of the Cutlass, especially dealing with all these panels here kind of blocking things. And this is a topic that I have repeatedly dealt with. Yet there are still some people who feel that that they're necessary, that they bring immersion and whatnot. I don't really feel that way. I mean, I'm going to put a link in the description below. There's another YouTube video I'd like you guys to check out. It's a guy who's actually got all these cockpit functions that you access through all these panels. He's got this into his tablet, so he can control the game live, and he demonstrates it. He can deploy landing gear, lights, access throttle, power levels, shields, weapons, all that stuff. He's all doing it through his tablet while he's flying his ship. And if somebody kind of working in their spare time can do this, someone who says he's not a programmer can do this, we got a whole brand new website. Maybe we can, develop an app for tablets too. And, I don't know, maybe resolve some of these problems we're having with cockpits. I don't know. I mean, I think that would be slightly immersive to have those control panels right there in front of you rather than just all squeezed up on your screen. That could be an interesting way to kind of bring the game to life for people. I don't know. Anyways, a link to that YouTube video will be in the description below. I highly recommend you check it out. Now, while we're letting all this action unfold and we're heading into Grim Hex just to check out the prices and see if we can't possibly make an even bigger fortune on these goods here, I wanted to address a couple of comments. Not comments through YouTube, but comments through Spectrum. A couple of you have been eagle-eyed enough to notice that at times when you can see me scrolling through my ships when I'm bringing up ships, a couple of you have noticed that there's a number of Auroras there. And we're asking, why do you have so many Auroras? And the answer is, and you know, don't worry, like I don't mind that you look. It's why these things are up here. I don't mind that you look and that you see things. The reason why I have those Auroras is that generally whenever anniversary sales happen, you generally get these super cheap game packages. And those went back to an event where the game packages were like $20. And, you know, we were always told that these could be then converted into high quality NPCs. Now, I have said, you know, I don't know about NPCs flying as, say, wingmen. I'm not too sure about their efficiency. Operating a turret, maybe, you know, these are some of the things. Like, when I look at NPCs, I intentionally set the bar for them really low so that way they don't disappoint me. The reason why I have them is quite simply for ships like the Cutlass to a certain extent, definitely the Caterpillar or the Reclaimer. They're not intended to really operate any systems. Their role, their intended role for me is ship security. They are, like when I talk about going out and I said, you know, I got to get loaded up on guns and armor and all these things like I'm doing right now, building up all this money. The reason for that, once these features are implemented, is that all of these guys are going to get geared up once, once they're in the game, armed up, guns, the whole bit, and they are just there to prowl my ship backwards and forwards. At the very least, that's what I hope that they'll accomplish, is to just stand there and prevent anybody from getting on my ship, or at the very least to make it a very difficult proposition for them. They're basically red shirts, you know, that's what they're there for. That's why I have those Aurora game packages, is those are people who are just meant to troll along and patrol inside of my larger ships. You know, possibly in the future, who knows, we may be able to use them as wingmen. I don't know, but realistically, at the very least, that's what I want them for. Is I want them to, at the very least, be able to patrol my ship and provide ship security and either hinder or stop any attempt to board my ship by anybody else. But enough of all that. Now, here we are. We have now returned with a full load here at Port Olisar. It's all here. We've made it back, so we are now financially back on track. So we continue to gamble. I think that overall, the Gambler will be a better ship once the game is a little bit more stable. But for right now, I think the scale and the size of the Cutlass and its performance, its ability to kind of get to destinations quickly, that helps close that window that, you know, bad things have that opportunity to happen. So right now, I really feel that ships like the Cutlass, the Freelancer, Avenger, Titan are really solid ships for making money right now. Even though I do have the Caterpillar and I could use it and I could probably just go out and buy all kinds of stuff everywhere. I could just hit up every station, buy out everything, and then just dump it all at Olisar for a profit. It's just, the game just isn't there yet. You know, it isn't. But Now that we've made a whole lot of money, lost a big chunk of money, and then made it, for the most part, all back, we're still, there's still some outstanding chunks. We still have a fairly large chunk of money. But now it's time to spend some of it. Now, as a pirate, you do have a certain responsibility to think about every purchase and be frugal and responsible with every credit. Now, of course, I could create one hell of a video, showing you the extent of this incredible shopping spree. But when you buy this much gear and you've got this much money left over, even after you've spent so much of it, there's only one thing that you can do. Strut. Yeah, it's probably a bad idea to tickle the old copyright Dragon's Tail, if you know what I mean. So we're going to end this episode here. Sorry there were no ship updates this week. I wish that there were, but there were not. But I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Piracy Show instead, and thanks for watching.